Let's try moving it to 60. Nope, that doesn't work. D7.5. Yeah, it's alright. Alright, so we've got the back button. Stats main screen. So host, join. We don't have those. Online notice. Do we want the online notice for this? Probably we do. Like, you can view stats without logging in. Or I should just say you cannot view stats without logging in. Alright, so you can view stats without logging in, but your profile will be unavailable. I'll just leave it as that. So this is going to be the stats main screen back button. Platform info updated, platform hook, back click, set parent. Alright. Stats, back, stats. We can log in. And the notice is gone. Excellent. So stats is there. Stats CSS. Alright, stat screen is totally done, of course. You could view leaderboards without logging in, but your profile will be unavailable. When you've announced the eventual Mac port, when is the game coming to the Commodore 64? The game was actually released on Commodore 64 back in the 80s, but nobody bought it, so we just chucked it all in a landfill. The wall of Twitch mugshots? Yeah, I don't know. Alright, let's save our current metadata so we always come back here. So the stats screen is there. Let's go and create the leaderboard screen and the user profile screen. and the other screen as well. So screens, all right, so we have stats main screen and stats leaderboard screen, stats history screen, and stats profile screen. So that should be all those. Oh yeah, we'll need a viewpoint for this too, won't we? I'll have to add that in there. Stats history screen, stats leaderboard screen, stats profile screen. Where's the index? Did I get rid of that? No, I did not. Yeah, adding screens requires a little bit of work to get everything set up, but overall it's not too horrifying. I think I'm going to add these all as viewpoint 5, actually. So that'll be viewpoint 5. I'll have to go make viewpoint 5. What Java projects do I do? Hello, BitSlime. Sorry I wasn't looking at chat there. Where's this landfill? The landfill is a secret location. It is, I'll give you a hint, it's in Australia, but beyond that, I don't know. So BitSlime, Java, the stuff that I use Java for is I've got this whole back-end server system for the game that we're working on, Dashkin. So when you boot up the game, basically the client and the servers are all C++ Unreal 4 applications, but the backend has talks to the database, handles authentication, serves the web pages for the website, everything like that. So when we go log in, this page that pops up here is from our backend web server, which is Java. When we log in and all that stuff. So when we go to browse games and production, everything, all this is being served from a Java backend server and all that. So we use it for account management, systems like that, and it works very well for that. It's been real stable. For instance, when we were at GDC, we did not have any server issues going on at all. Do you feel Java is the future? I mean, pretty much it's a tool for a job. A lot of people feel like Java is the past. And C# is more the future, or Python microservices are the future, or stuff like AWS Lambda is the future. I'm pretty much in the same basket of a lot of people. I think is use the right tool for the job. If you people saying like, "Oh, NoSQL databases are the future." Be like, well, NoSQL databases have their uses. SQL databases have their uses. So it's just another tool in the Swiss Army knife of programming and server infrastructure management. The reason I use Java over other stuff is because it's real easy to keep a stable running program in Java. I don't think I've seen a better language for just keeping crap running. So that's been pretty cool. So let's take a stats viewpoint and let's go drag it somewhere. That looks, someplace real ugly, so Adam will have to fix it. But someplace different, too. Is that just a picture of the sun? Yeah, we just have a picture of the sun there. Let's just throw it up in the air over here. So how are we looking? We could rotate down bubble a little bit. Something like that. Try that. And as for things running on different operating systems, you can get anything to run on pretty much every operating system. And Microsoft's doing work on tons of stuff. Like they're trying to get the Linux subsystem working, and they're trying to get C# running on Mac and everything. You've been using Windows Notepad? I hope not for Java. Notepad was what we used like freshman year of college, because they said use Notepad and then compile your C code into using Borland, GCC, and Microsoft. So like if you're using Notepad, that's like training wheels. Just make sure you can work with rocks and sticks. I use Eclipse for Java because there's no real good reason. It's the same thing. I use like the light, like a background for everything because I don't know. Everyone else likes dark backgrounds and themes for their tools, but I like light themes because I don't know. I guess I'm a white supremacist or something. I'll probably get a sunburn from my monitors from all the white backgrounds I use at some point. Eclipse is okay. It's a lot of people like IntelliJ or like other tools for Java development. And the reason I use Eclipse is just I'm a little bit more familiar with it. Eclipse turns into a giant pile of crap if you use a bunch of plugins, though. So if you're trying to use Eclipse and you're like, Eclipse has all these amazing plugins I can use, and you just don't. Do not install any plugins. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Otherwise, Eclipse will perform like a pile of trash with a couple of raccoons fighting on top. And the performance of that is not going to be very good, and you're going to be very angry. Actually, like right here would be a pretty cool place because we could see that waterfall coming down. Let's see. Somewhere like this. Yeah, I could see that as like a nice background for one of our things. Let's change the time of day. Let's make it like that? Yeah, let's just make it like that. See how that looks. The cherry on top is the raccoons. Yeah. If you're gonna do Java development, I like Eclipse just because of how simple it is and it works. I didn't really like IntelliJ just because of its enforced packet package structure stuff, and I'm not a fan of how Java does a lot of dependency management sorts of shit. What is this trash? Right. Viewpoint 5 is mountains. Nothing uses viewpoint 5, right? Yeah, so we can actually just get rid of VP mountains, I believe. Yeah, so it looks like this. It's kind of interesting. They got the red waterfalls in the background because of how the light's coming through. Whatever. It's supposed to look like shit, so Adam fixes it, so I'm just gonna leave it looking bad. But yeah, using Notepad for Java project, I would absolutely never do. That sounds like a really annoying system. Like Java's too verbose for any of that crap, and then all your one of the good things about Java is you can basically rename everything and change and refactor really nicely. And if you're just doing it in Notepad, you lose a lot of that. So if you're using Notepad, like the only programs I write in Notepad are like scripts like Python, JavaScript, and that sort of crap. Like Lua. Alright, so what I want to do here is I want to get our stats main screen needs buttons to go to the proper places. So we need our user profile and we need leaderboards. So let's just keep it simple. Leaderboards and user stats. So stats, user profile, button. And stats, leaderboards. And we'll need to actually put this somewhere in our stuff. Get the back button here. Your professor said if you can't program in Notepad, then you don't really know what you're frying with. I still don't know what he meant. Yeah, that's why they started us off programming in Notepad when I was in college. For the first semester and basically the first year, they were just like, use Notepad, use the command line to compile everything. Just do it that way. You'll learn plenty. And so when you go up against situations um, where you're having trouble, like we boot up some Game Boy Color stuff, and the only way to have a breakpoint would be to set like the debug register to like 13 or some shit, and then it would break, and then like you couldn't printf anything, and if you're able to work in those environments, if you from the beginning, then you don't just develop bad habits with IDEs where you rely on them as a crutch, and as soon as autocomplete stops working, you just like can't do jack shit because you're like, oh, the tools aren't there. I don't know what I'm doing. But I didn't know. I thought I was smart, but I was actually just being helped by machines. So I think that's probably what your professor's going for there is try to make sure that everybody is able to program without developing a whole bunch of bad habits that that can be introduced by that sort of stuff. And I think, yeah, we can just take that off. It needs to be 18 VMIN, not the rest of it. Yeah, 18.8 isn't doing anything. So leaderboards and stats. What do we got for the stats main menu? Alright, so stats, leaderboard, button, user profile button, user profile button, user profile button, and leaderboards button. So there we go, leaderboards and user stats. And I think we'll pretty much just, is there like some sort of disabled I can throw in here? Do I already have a style for disabled buttons? Yeah, disabled looks like that, so we'll just do that sort of thing. You guys were actually working with the bytecode that the JVM runs with. I haven't gone that low level in Java just because, I don't know, it's interesting, but like my whole college was about C and C++. I did not even use Java until my first job in the games industry. Okay, so if we are online, hide the online notice, otherwise we need to do things. So let's snag our profile and leaderboards buttons. Excuse me. So that should let this work. So if we go to stats, we'll see leaderboards there. We log out, and user stats should be grayed out, but it's not because we probably have something else going on. Wait, I need an else and then an add class. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Come to class with a cup of coffee and say, "This mug makes 3 billion in one devices." Yeah, your professor sounds like the installer for the JVM. I think I have a hunch that Bit Slime is making things up, but the it's at least entertaining. So let's add our disabled. So if we are online, remove the class. Otherwise, add it back. We want all the disabled classes. Why did this not do its thing? Oh, because I'm using the wrong this. That'll do it. Really? Alright, let's just make sure I got this properly set up. User profile button and leaderboard button. Alright. Stats, user profile button is there. Alright, we gotta all walk through this. Am I streaming this weekend? Probably. I don't have anything else going on. So I will most likely be doing stuff. Pretty much I'm going to be streaming whenever I can. I'm not going to stream any of the other projects. That's going to be a massive secret. So I'll just be streaming working on this guy. But I want to get all the stats stuff done to see what we can do, because next update's the stats. And we want stats and high scores for the next one. After that is going to be missions, and it would be pretty cool to get kind of a start on those missions, because what I want to do with the missions is, yeah, it'll be, I need to get the stats in there. There's a few bugs for the update I want to fix, and then it'll be missions. And missions, we'll see, there's some good opportunities for that. Alright, stats main screen. Let's just see what this guy has. It doesn't have disabled on it. Is online, user profile button, add class disabled. So it doesn't have it. We're not even getting to stats main screen controller. Oh yeah, this is because I set up all these screens here, and then I didn't actually fill them out. So I'm using the last load of this guy. So I need to go through and change all this crap. So we have back all that. We don't need this guy. We don't need the platform hook. Okay, so that should be fine. All right, that's looking okay. All right, so that's history, leaderboard, stats, leaderboard, screen. Just gotta set all this stuff up. Gotta shave a few yaks here before we can do anything useful. Online notice, platform widget, we don't need that. And we can remove some of these guys there. Oh yeah, we need this. So main screen, main bodies, this will be stats, leaderboard, screen body, and stats history. Last one is going to be stats profile. What do we call this? Just profile? Let's do that. So delete you, done. Alright, let's see if we got any errors. No errors. But we should at least be seeing our user stats there. So we log in and continue, and user stats is now there. Log out. User stats is disabled. View leaderboards are logging in, but your profile will be on. Yeah, okay, so I got that. So let's hook up the leaderboard screen. So you can stop working on the front end of the game in streams, like Unreal front end, I mean. Now, the only thing we're gonna mess around with the front end here is we're probably gonna switch over to a different UI system than WebKit. WebKit really hasn't been performant enough, at least this embedded Chromium browser stuff. We're looking at probably switching over to something like Coherent Hummingbird, which is more of a kind of a scale form sort of application, which is cross-platform. It costs a lot of money, but it's probably worth it with how stupid the performance has been with WebKit. So we will see. So I need to hook up these buttons so we can actually push these screens here. So let's go to that main menu screen. So what we want to do is hook up our main menu JavaScript here. Let's get these clicks going. Am I going to stop working on gameplay in streams? No. Let's see, this is going to be multiplayer main screen. This is going to be the stats leaderboard screen. I was saying some stuff that only Adam will understand, so don't try to understand it. The stats profile screen is the other one. What we also want to check is if we are... Is there a has class on jQuery? Yeah, it looks like there is a has class. Why don't we use that? Do it like that. So if it's a disabled thing, when you click on it, nothing happens. Otherwise, we go to leaderboards. So if we log in, oh, had class. All right, we need has class. There we go. Cool. All right. Had class and that. So that'll work there. Let's go make our other screens. Well, our screens now exist. Let's throw a debug button on there right now, just for... Actually, let's add a user history button in here just to, and then Adam can take it out if he wants. Encrypted messages, not really encrypted, but in code. Alright, so this will be click here for this guy. And we need to go to our CSS and actually add this in here. So this will be a 12, and the next one will be an 18. So it should be simple. What made you choose Hummingbird? Well, that's what they're demoing. That's their new product. And the coherent like GX or whatever EX or whatever thing is kind of their older system, which is WebKit based. And while we probably could just drop in and use the coherent stuff, their new Hummingbird stuff is supposedly a lot better, and it's what their active development is on. So if we're gonna switch to something, switch to like we're already gonna have to change shit. So if it was like a quick and dirty switch, we'd probably use their WebKit based stuff, but and then like everything we have now would work the same way, but would be more efficient and probably work. But if we're gonna get the pretty looking UI and stuff that works more with like Flash and Adobe Animate, Hummingbird is like just set up to basically take Flash symbols and stuff like that and throw those into the UI. And we've got one of the best Flash animators around on this project, so you know, there you go. Kind of makes sense that we'd use it. All right, history stats. History profile. So let's go ahead and go to this guy and add the same stuff in here for history button. Kind of copy pasting this around, but it's okay. Everything is fine. Okay, so we have all of our screens. All of our screens are popping up. We're not getting horrible error messages about it, so that's good. So what I want to do next is just throw some basic banners at the top of these things. Then I'm probably going to be like, I've been working for about 6 hours. It's probably good for 1 day's worth of work. So we have the history banner. Do we want to set up our CSS a little bit differently? So like for these guys, we're not gonna be using the same pattern of having everything call out everything, so I'm just gonna put in the header a piece of text just to make sure I got everything working properly. Alright, so this is stat history, which is true. This is the profile, which is true. And this is the leaderboard page, which is true. Let's remove the banner image because those are ugly and stupid according to our artist friend, who has much better taste in things than I do. Alright, cool. So I'm pretty much in a perfect starting position for kind of my next work session. The stats are in the database. I like how my developer login just works. Like, I know people have been asking for this sort of thing where you can just like hit the logout button and then, go to it, just hit login, and it just boom works like that without doing anything else. So eventually we'll have that for the Twitch stuff. I'm almost ready to actually kick that over to be automatic. Kind of the reason I'm not is because of a lot of. It really helps with the debugging. like I always have to go through the damn login flow and make sure that I didn't break the login flow. But yeah, I'm at a good stopping point, and if I know anything about that, it's don't get to a good stopping point and then be hungry, because I am hungry. Because you'll start working on stuff, get halfway through it, start rushing shit, and make poor choices. It's better to have a fresh brain. At least for me, I believe it is. So I think I'm good. I'm going to be done for today here. And I will shut all this down. So what I need to do, it would be worth it to deploy everything that's currently on here to the test environment. So let's do that. Let's reconcile the UI directory. Yeah, we've got all those new things. Revert things that we don't need. Throw that in there. Actually, let's just throw everything in here. New UI screens. Work in progress. Fixing issues with random stats. As for the UI stuff, we'll see if Coherent works for us. I'm fairly confident that it's got everything that we need. So we used at Amazon for a while. We used the WebKit stuff. Their support was kind of shit. I wasn't too impressed with. They switched to the Visual Studio version on us without giving us fair warning or enough real time. They're like, oh, next update doesn't have Visual Studio 2013 supported, and it was like, what? That might not have been their fault, though. The guy we had integrating it, I was not super impressed with that person. It's an understatement. I really did not like that person. He's kind of one of those guys who, like, everything's always fucking important for them. Like, because there's certain types of people who work, like you don't really notice the people who just get all their crap done all the time and don't say anything, go home. And there's kind of the perception sometimes that somebody who's like, there's a Dilbert comic that sums it up, which was like where Alice the engineer is working really hard all the time and is super stressed out, and the boss is like, man, or no, it was anyway. It was. I don't remember the details exactly, but it's basically if somebody is having a really difficult time with something, a lot of people just assume that they're having a difficult time with it because it's a difficult task to accomplish, as opposed to they're having a difficult time with it because they're a fucking moron, something like that. So basically, we'd always have. This guy, every single time we had to do an update or make a weekly build, he always was there super late and needing everybody else to like hold check-ins and, I'm merging in this giant thing and there's so much work I've done and, I'm going to need QA to specially test it and all this other shit. and Mr. Big Deal. And when I was running the platform team, like if I made a screw up, 500 people can't log in. And for him, it's like, okay, so the UI is screwed up for like the next 3 hours. That's not a problem. So it may have been that, all of our issues with coherent support were basically this guy being a total jerk and demanding shit and being Mr. Big Deal. And Coherent was like, yeah, Mr. Big Deal, that's cool, but your company hasn't signed a contract with us yet for support and don't pay us all that much, so you can go fuck yourself. We told you in the beginning, don't use that version. And you're like, all right, cool, and used it anyway. In the words of Ike, you'll get no sympathy from me. So I'm waiting for this build for this thing, and then I'll be deploying to the test environment and running against tests to make sure that the test environment records stats. So let's go to the test environment and make sure it's got the right tables and everything else. So for user stats, we do have a few stats on test for my user, which is fine. So that's all good to go. So I'm going to sync our configuration for the test environment first. I'm going to deploy the Dashkin game data to the test environment. And then I'll deploy the servers then. Yeah, it's one of those things that that I looked for when I was interviewing people was we'd give them the hard problem, and it really wasn't important if they got the problem right or not. I started looking for if the person blamed themselves for the problem being hard, or if they blamed the problem for being hard, or if they just kept working the problem. Because there were a few employees that when I interviewed them, I kind of noticed that they would blame the problem, and at first I thought that was a good thing. I was like, oh, this person recognizes that the problem is difficult and is, like, frustrated, and they're not like projecting onto themselves that they're idiots because they can't solve it. They're saying it's difficult, and they're but they're still here working on it. So you don't want somebody who's just gonna turn into a depressed pile of crap because they can't get a high score table working or something. You want somebody who's just gonna power through it. All right, so deploy Dashkin services to test. Let's do that. But what I noticed later is the people who mainly blamed the problem for being hard, when they came up against a difficult problem when they're working, they made it a big deal that, if they were successful at solving it, they would very much laud themselves and, aren't I special? Or if they had problems with it, they would, really build up that they're working on something difficult, and they would not accept, they wouldn't accept help very easily on things because it wasn't them that had the problem with the problem. It's that always the problem was difficult and they were the smartest person to deal with it, and they had the best ideas. It was like, okay. But I think this one guy definitely had that ingrained where he would never retrospect and be like, maybe I'm doing something wrong here. Maybe that's why I always have these check-ins that steamroll into late nights for other people. Because when I think about myself, of course, I'll compare other people to what I work on, and I've got the same knee-jerk reaction of like, well, what I do is so incredibly important, and 500 people will be down, and I'm just nobody could log in or do anything if I didn't do everything perfectly. Yeah, it's true. I got the same thing going on with me. But then again, I'm the person who gets called months after I leave a job with so that one server you had has been running for the past 6 months without a problem, and it's now not working. And I'm like, well, did the SSL cert expire? Oh yeah, that's it. Never mind. Yeah, go fix that. So we're going to be looking for the score stats, the win stats, and all the rest. I'm actually going to pop out to the test platform server. And this needs to, I need to close that. I'm going to log into it. That's one of those patterns. If you find yourself always doing really important work and always having problems and needing everybody else to do special things for you, take a step back and see if maybe you're the one causing all that shit. Now assuming relay master role. Alright, so I'm going to switch to the test environment and turn off my dev login. Because what I've found is those sorts of people who are really important all the time, like it works very well for a very long time in your career. But if you're at a place for long enough where you actually get trapped into something and somebody has to bail your ass out in an important way, you get absolutely hammered by management. Like as soon as that bubble bursts and your credibility is shot, like you never get it back. That's the one thing at EA. One guy like basically shut down everything for a day while he was doing a giant overhaul of something. And at the end of the day, I went up to the manager and I was like, "This guy, this is unacceptable. This guy has to roll back all his crap." The manager went to him, is like, we need to now be able to work. Like this, you said this would take 2 hours. It's taken 14 hours. You said it would be done before anybody got in today. It's now like 10 p.m. and everybody's gone home for the last 5 hours. I can't just have my entire team sitting here for the rest of the week doing nothing. Like we have deadlines. You need to roll back your work. And the guy's like, I can't. I cannot roll it back. I don't know how. And the manager said, I can. That was the worst, because manager sat him down and is like, this is how you roll it back. This is how version control works. And that guy ended up resigning like a month or two later. So let's get our accuracy all crapped up, do like some moves, and let's score this thing and go home. I just love that new spike shot is so good. Just slot that thing right in the goal.